Live from Dudleyville Studios, it's DVW Table Talk. Now here is your host, Tony Sparaccio! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the third edition of DVW Table Talk. I am your host, Tony Sparaccio, and before we get into our guests tonight, I have to run down the news as please hold your applause until I actually say something, as we are going to run down the news. First off, in non-DVW news, the GPW Rumble is next Sunday and is gearing up to be quite the event. Probably one of the biggest in our recent history here in CAW as a whole. But as well as GPW, DVW is going to be having their own show, and that is on tour. Now, yesterday, our owner, Riley Wolf, did run down the card, but I'm going to do it for you right now once again. In a very quick fashion, Extreme Ortiz taking on Christian Taylor. Flaming Tables match between Cody Hagan and Jeff Matthews. United States Champion on the line as Lucy Ferdinand takes on Jake Holmes. Next Gen Championship on the line in a handicap match between Xavier Williams and JD Reck against champion Damian Ace. TBA taking on the family in a 2-on-3 handicap match for the DVW Tag Team Champions. A grudge match between Benjamin Shaw and Matthew Moretti. A three-way dance for the DVW Women's Champion as Roxanne Dean, Carolyn Smith try to challenge the champion Lou Bates in our two main events of the night. An Iron Man tables match for the DVW I Am the Tables Champion. Chef Stompy is going to go up against challenger and first ever champion Jimmy Darwin. In our main event, we will have a death match for the DVW World Champion as Eric DeVille tries to dethrone One Shot Kid in what is to be promised our bloodiest match we've ever had in DVW. Now, that was all fun, but it is time to introduce our first guest of the night, having an impressive record in DVW before even getting signed this recent Thursday on 3D. Please help me give a warm welcome to Brandon Cuevas.
What's up?
Hello there, Cuevas. You are a very large individual. You are very large. I didn't know they made people as big as you.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. A lot of people my size, even though they're taller than me, heavier than me, are somehow like harder than me. I mean, you can just expect a lot of athleticism coming from a small Garden State.
Oh wow, Garden State, New Jersey, not too far of a drive away from Dudleyville. Personal question: how do you wipe? With how big you are, how are you able to reach behind are you a sitter or a stander when you wipe?
I mean, I'd be surprised on that one. I would say I'm a standard, but not so much. But, I mean, it's a common thing in a sense.
Well, with all that being said, let's actually move on to your impressive accolades as of late. Now, first of all, going into your other ventures as of late, in the Apex Rumble, you participated and you lasted a pretty long time, and you were almost a finalist. Now, what was your thought process during the Apex Rumble? I know you were representing Reckless Intent. Did you have a personal motive in front of it, or was it merely to help Franco get to the main event?
It was not. It's a half and half, but at the same time, out of all the people, I have an experience Rumble matches. And before I got to Apex and here to Dudleyville Wrestling, I've won 4 Rumbles overall. So you can practically say there's a bit of an edge there. My 2-year career.
Wow. Sounds like a very impressive career. Now going on to your accolades in DVW. In your debut, unsigned, you defeated a one Extreme Ortiz. And for a while, you weren't really getting much exposure. You were not given a contract right away. But a few weeks later, they did give you another trial match against, who was that? I do believe that was, if I can pull it up, that was against, I'm not getting who you were facing. It seemed to be a one Joshi P.
Oh, yes.
Now, what were you thinking about going into your match against Joshi P? Now, Joshi has been quite successful in other feds and has even had some runs with some notable gold. Now, were you intimidated at all by Joshi P going into the match?
Not in the least. I'm not afraid of Joshi P at all. My mindset's like, okay, you've seen him what he can do before, but you know what to do when you face someone like Joshi P.
Well, I agree there, and it seems like that mindset did help you in winning not only your second ever match in DVW, but a contract to the show in general. Now, what were you feeling emotionally when you got in the back and Riley stuck out his hand? From what I heard, I was on the table, I couldn't see what was happening, but from what I heard in the back, Riley personally stuck out his hand and gave you the contract right then and there. What were you feeling when that happened?
I've I've earned it. There's not much I can say.
Well,
To be quite honest, since I've got this far, I know that I would rise to the occasion every single time.
definitely. Well, congratulations on that. Now, with you being officially a member of the DVW roster, what are your intentions and what are your plans going forward here on DVW? Actually, starting on the 3D brand and having chances at the Next Gen Champion, and maybe if you find somebody with a very similar ideology to you, maybe going towards those DVW United States Tag Champs. What are your goals here in DVW?
My goal is very simple. Just web ass, make your claim, and in the process, if you get to that point, get the goal. Mainly, you see me beginning as tag team wrestler, but I can handle this competition, and there's no doubt that I want. No matter what happens, I'm gunning for that goal. I'm gunning for that gold.
Well, what goal are you actually specifically targeting?
Mainly the next gen. So, Damian Ace, if you're listening, watch yourself,
Wow.
because this captain of this rebellion is gonna captain of what now you're gonna be seeing as a rebellion is gonna come after you. And once he does, watch your back.
Wow, quite impressive and quite imposing words from one Brandon Cuevas. I'd like to thank you very much for your time here on Table Talk. I'm glad that I was able to sit down and talk with you and know what we can expect here in Table Talk. Glad to have you, Brandon Cuevas, ladies and gentlemen. As we move on to our next guest, it's another man who last Thursday on 3D earned a contract to compete here in DVW in his first try nonetheless. I'm talking about a one J.J. Ramirez. Now, are you here, Jay?
Yo.
Whoa, look at that. J.J. Ramirez. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for J.J. Ramirez.
Thank you. It's glad to make it going.
Oh, it's good to have you here, J.J. Now, you now being in DVW, it's very exciting to see you here. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you were actually originally going to be a part of Riley's original Fed that he was trying to make on around this time last year called IGPW. Were you disappointed that it never really got as far off the planning stages?
It sucks because I really saw a good future there in this company, and some things are meant to happen, But now I'm in this new company and we'll be debuting soon, so.
You will be getting your officially contracted debut soon enough. One second. My apologies. Had to make sure that everything went in line. Now, and from what I saw, it was a high octane match. It was a tables match against Leo Punk. Is that something you want to move on going forward in DVW? Is tables matches?
Well, if there's a table, a ladder, a garbage can, a prostitute, anything, I'll do it. I'm a death match fanatic. I do anything death match. I ain't afraid to put my body on the line. I'll probably break a bowl, break a back, break anything. As long as I get my opponent down, and I prove a point.
Well, yeah, that's quite an impressive statement. Now, what separates you from every other person that has said that already on Table Talk? Jimmy Darrow, our first ever I Am the Tables champion, grew up in the deathmatch circuit. Leo Punk, your opponent, is the king of hardcore. There's Chef Stompy is the hardcore chef. What separates you from everybody else in this hardcore-like division? What separates you from those people?
What separates me those people, huh? Have those people held 15 hardcore championships? Have those people gotten a Hall of Fame spot for their acts of violence? Have those people ever jumped off of a stage or jumped off of a Titantron before? I know I'm kind of quoting Pandorino, but you know what I'm saying. But they haven't done what I've done in a death match, and I've almost killed a person in a death match. I set a man's house on fire in a death match. So, all they've done doesn't bother me. Whatever they can do, I can do better in my own way.
Interesting. Now, I hear that you are actually supposed to be going, that you and your tag partner, Joshy P, have officially entered into the DVW United States Tag Team Championship Tournament. Is that true?
Yes, it is. Joshy P is a good time, is a good long friend of mine, a very good rival. I actually growing up watching Joshy P and different companies that he's been in that I quite honestly want to be in myself. Who else could I have chosen except Joshy P? But you gotta choose the person who you know has the most history with and who you've had the most experience with.
It seems like you two have a lot of chemistry backstage. We'll see if you can replicate that in the ring as you move on to the first round in the DVW United States Championship Tag Team Tournament. Now, how do you think you're going to really reach any kind of challenges, or do you think it's going to just be a breeze for you guys? Are you hoping for challenges?
Challenge. If there's any challenge, I'll be surprised. But I've faced a good amount of tag team before, and they all have air quote challenge. But is there ever really a challenge?
I don't know. Well, speaking of... Oh, finish your sentence, please. My apologies.
I said it. I said I didn't think so. So
All right.
can,
Well, speaking of the tag team champions, I would unfortunately have to take your time to announce another team that is going to be a part of the United States Tag Team Championship Tournament, and that is a team that consists of Tucker Ruth and Jim Boy Coyote, and they will be calling themselves Cold Beer on a Friday night. Now, are you intimidated by those such people? Have you seen Tucker Ruth in action? He's actually a regular here in DVW.
I don't know what the hell to even say about that. What was his name again?
Tucker Ruth and Jim Boy Coyote, Cold Beer on a Friday night, is going to be one of your opponents in this tournament. A double elimination tournament, I must say.
I actually don't have a comment for that. Actually, that just speaks for itself. All I can say is I hope for a good match. Yeah, I'm really lost on that, to be honest with you.
Oh, I mean, with such a name as Cold Beer on a Friday night, that makes any man speechless. I know,
Yeah,
just one beer could help knock someone senseless.
20 can make a man do whatever he can, but I don't. So moving on, please.
Yes, yes, please. I don't want to go on the Drunker Jimmy territory, but
I don't plan to either.
But if you were so to not win those tag team champions, would you see yourself continuing in your tag team ventures, or would you like to step out on your own and maybe go for a different set of titles?
Actually, that's a good. What actually, it really does depend though. If me and Jackie do that good of a job trying to win the tag team titles, then I wouldn't see a reason to stop being a tag team, honestly. Because yeah, I just want to see a reason to stop being a tag team. I want to keep trying again. So, yeah.
That's good to hear. I love a tag team with good tenacity, and that's what we're going to be getting from your tag team name is, I believe, War Treaty?
Yeah, we kind of workshopped that name for 3 days, but then we have finally agreed on War Treaty.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be excited to see War Treaty in action in the DVW United States Tag Team Tournament. Now, I think that's all the time we have for you, JJ. Thank you so much for coming on, JJ Ramirez, ladies and gentlemen. Now, up next, we should be having Kyle Young here very shortly. Are you there, Kyle?
Very shortly, as in right now.
There he is, Kyle Young, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a hand.
But
Now, Kyle.
It's not the stage.
I believe that you're gonna be your next Second City Dojo pay-per-view is gonna be coming up very soon.
September the 5th.
September the 5th is going to be. What is the name of that Second City Dojo pay-per-view?
Showdown at Sundown.
Showdown at Sundown on September 5th. Just a little bit of hot dogging and grandstanding before we get into the meat and juice of this interview. And before we get into that interview, could we expect Tony Sparacio there?
It depends on if Mr. Samurai gets another fight. That's all I'll say.
Okay, then. Well, it's going to be interesting to see whether I'm there or not. I believe that Second City Dojo puts on some of the finest action known to man. And speaking of the dojo itself, your actual school, I believe that one of your students, Alistair, has been on quite the roll lately on 3D. Now, what do you expect going forward from your student?
Knowing him and considering what I've heard from Cuevas earlier, I'm sorry, buddy, but I think Alistair's going to be wanting to get that shot first. He's been here longer. He's been grinding. And I think he's going to want to take that title off of Damian Ace.
Ooh, imposing words from Kyle Young on behalf of Alistair. I'd love to see Cuevas and Alistair go at it.
Oh, hell yeah.
But speaking of your other students, we also saw the debut of Airstrike as well.
They did very impressively, I'm not gonna lie, against the full-blooded Italians.
Yep. And both those teams being in the DVW Next Gen, excuse me, the DVW
Not the Next
United
Gen.
States Tag Team Championship Tournament. That is quite the mouthful to say. But it is worth it to see how beautiful those tag titles look. Have you seen those tag titles in person yet? They are incredible looking in person.
Oh yeah. I kind of wish I was in the tournament myself, but I'm just glad to see too many students go after those titles.
Yeah, definitely. But speaking of your tag team past and somebody that you've had tag teams within the past, your son Leon has been mysteriously gone from DVW as of late. Could you elaborate on what has been happening with Leon?
Okay. After kind of some issues he's had with the gimmick he's currently had, or basically the current path of his career, he kind of reached out to find somebody else to train him to get himself on track again. If you've seen on Twitter, well, he's kind of he's found his path again. He'll be back on DVW very soon. Probably after on tour, but that's up to whenever Riley puts him on.
Yep. We'll have to wait and see. It seems like with this reinvention, we might be seeing Leon back on our TV screens sooner than later. Now on to your actual career in DVW. Now, there was a certain man that actually brought you up on last episode's Table Talk, and that was a one Brandon Ace. Now, what do you think about Brandon Ace and what he said about you and your aspirations towards the DVW United States Champion?
Almost says I don't know what the hell he's talking about. He's not even on the roster. He's not even debuted yet. So I don't know why the fuck Brandon Ace is even trying to go for the United States title when, again, he's not even had his debut just yet.
Whoa. Would you... Now, Brandon has actually signed a deal just after Table Talk Episode 2 went off air. Would you like to be... Now, I can't make the match right here and now, but would you want to be Brandon's debut match for him to just... For you to be that stepping stone to be, hey, if you think you're good enough for DVW, you go after me.
If he's willing to put his money where his mouth is, then he'll freaking do it.
Wow, some impressive words by Kyle Young.
I'm surprised he's not trying to say anything yet.
Yeah,
I gave him courtesy last time not to jump in.
I'm surprised that Brandon isn't in the building.
This ain't his style.
Yeah, this is weird. That we are not hearing from Brandon Ace.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The real star has arrived.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
It's Brandon Ace.
The real star hasn't even debuted yet.
Whoa.
I don't need a debut. People know who I am. It makes sense. When you're a star like me, you don't need a goddamn debut.
Wow. Now, what do you have to say about that?
You talk a little too much there, Brandon.
And
And
it makes money. It generates ratings. That's what I do.
did you hear a damn thing I said?
No, because I don't
If
give
you
a
want to put
shit.
if you want to put your money where your mouth is, how about this? The time we get, when we get a chance, how about you and me go one-on-one? Just to see if you're actually up to snuff or if you've kind of let your ego get to your head.
Whoa.
Why do I need to have a match against someone like you? Like, you are just let's be honest, and I'm being nice, a B+ player. Someone with
Who are you now? Broken Twitch?
Maybe, I don't care. Better than his ass. Like, you gotta realize, people know me. Barely anyone knows about you. Like, look where I'm at. I'm everywhere. I am part of one of the top best tag teams in the community today in the Charm City Kings and a successful singles champion. At this point, when it's all, and I'm only 24 years old, I am at the prime of my career. I haven't even hit it yet. And when it's all said and done, I'm going to go down as one of the top stars in this community. And what are you? Just Chicago's second favorite wrestler and a clown.
Whoa, final words from you, Kyle, before we wrap up this segment.
Here's the thing, Brandon. You know what? No, I'm not even going to say anything because you know what? I'll let my actions do the talking for me. So that you should take a lesson from.
Whoa. Strong words from Kyle Young as he storms off our set. Brandon Ace, are you worried that Kyle Young is getting a little too, on edge about your attitude?
Not really, because I can care less. Not my fault he can get easily triggered. It just shows how easily sensitive he is.
Oh, well, are you going to accept the challenge for your debut match to be against Kyle Young?
Once again, why should I? But I'll think about it because I got a lot of stuff to do. Like, time is money. And someone like Kyle Young, in my opinion, isn't worth money. Even, like, let's be honest. If me versus him, let's be honest, I'll make him famous. Like, even if I lose, he'll be famous. Like, I'll easily make him famous like that. But trust me, he wouldn't last in the ring against me because, unlike him, I don't think he can't withstand my hybrid offense. Like I said, I am one of the best looking, great shape wrestlers in this community. And, well, that's all I got to say. Anything else?
I think we've heard enough from this very heated animosity between Brandon Ace and Kyle Young. Brandon Ace, thank you for crashing my set once again. Brandon Ace, ladies and gentlemen. No?
Go fuck yourself.
Still no applause. No love for Brandon Ace here.
Again, don't care. I'm here to make money. I'm not here to be anyone's friend or shake hands, kiss babies. So, to the crowd and to this talker, go fuck yourselves. I'm out.
Oh, I don't know what I did to the man. I've been here just moderating. But with all that being said, we are going to be moving on to our next interview of the night. It is going to be against the figurehead behind Intern Enterprises. We're going to get to hear from the man himself, the man behind the success behind all three Wolves of Prey and the current #1 contender for the United States champion, Lucy Ferdinand. Here is Maddie!
Yeah!
As a surprising round of applause for someone that I don't know how I feel personally about your actions with Intern Enterprises, but all personal feelings aside, how are you today, Matt?
I'm doing pretty well.
That's good to hear. Now, a few questions about Intern Enterprises. How did you get this started?
Yes. Well, sometimes when you know people in the wrestling world, you get connections, want to become famous. I knew a guy that knew a guy that knew another guy that knew Riley Wolf. So I got in contact with Riley Wolf. He asked me, hey, you seem pretty nice. Would you like to work for DVW? I said, of course. We're all in need of a job sometimes. Sometimes you might do some shit that you don't want to do for that job. But listen, we're all here to get paid. We're all here to win. That's how it is.
All right. Like that answer. Now the actual name itself, Intern Enterprises. I'm not sure how many people really understand that. What was your thought process behind the name Intern Enterprises? Is there a hidden meaning behind it?
Yes. I'm going to tell you a little story real quick. So the name Intern Enterprises. way back in my youngin' days, like probably 2 years ago, me, a couple of my boys, we love wrestling. We got a little
Of
podcast.
course.
And in that little podcast, for some reason, they never want to call me by my real name. They called me Intern. So that goes hand in hand with Intern Enterprises. It makes sense.
Now, has Intern Enterprises only actually worked in the wrestling business, or is there other ventures that you've worked on with this company?
Uh, Mainly wrestling.
Okay.
I tried doing other things, door-to-door salesman, but I never worked out.
Now here's the big question on everybody's mind. How have you been able to sign the blockbuster talent that you've been able to get? Not really notable names, but names that people are going to learn by how impressive in the ring they are. How did you get in contact with such people like Lucy Ferdinand and the Wolves of Prey?
Wolves of Prey, that's a long story, man. But I did know Lucy Ferdinand throughout my teen years. And yeah, he's a very good close friend of mine. We both grew up in the Bronx. And also, little detail, I might have another man signing to Intern Enterprises.
Oh, exclusive scoop here on Table Talk. We might be seeing another addition to Intern Enterprises. Can you give us any clues as who it is? Do we know the person? Do we not know the person? Can we get any clues on who it is?
He's going throughout the whole entire East Coast wrestling. Another good friend of mine. Both grew up in Bronx. He grew up down the street from me.
Oh, really?
Together and everything. Really nice man. He's a fellow Puerto Rican brethren like me.
Okay.
Big Yankees fan. That's all I gotta say. He's a really big Yankees fan.
Is that gonna incorporate into his gear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm excited to see his gear. I'm excited to see what he is capable in the ring of, and if he's going to be able to make it into DVW. Well, obviously, with your connections with Riley Wolf himself, it's pretty much a shoo-in that he's going to be on the roster.
Don't worry, he'll be there very soon. Just figuring out dates,
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Any other things you would like to say? Maybe to Lucy's opponent on tour, Jake Holmes, the current DVW United States champion.
All right, Mr. Jake Holmes. Listen, I might not be the best person. I know Lucy Ferdinand could get the job done. I guess I just gotta say good luck, or that's it. I don't know much about the kid.
Well, going very blind, surprisingly for a manager, but I'm not going to question how you do things. It seems like whatever you've been doing has been successful, and that's what we can say about you, Maddie. And I think that's all the time we have for you. Everybody, Maddie, give him a round of applause.
Thank you. I'll try my best.
Thank you once again to Maddie as we move on to our final interview of the night. We have the first ever DVW World Champion here in Eli Robledo. Eli, where are you, buddy? You around? Eli Robledo. Any sign of Eli? Eli Robledo. Let's wait a minute. Is he here? Is he alive? Is he alive? Can't hear you, Eli. Your mic's off. You there, buddy? We're having microphone issues right now with Eli Robledo, it seems. It's not good. So we work on trying to fix Eli's mic here. So we anxiously wait for Eli's mic to work. Are you there, Eli?
Yay, hello.
There he is! His mic is working! Round of applause for that! Eli Robledo, ladies and gentlemen! Oh, you're getting a standing ovation! Look at the crowd going wild for you! The people love you here at Table Talk!
Eli! Yeah!
Wow. What a gracious greeting from the audience. Eli, how are you doing today?
Great, man.
Great to hear. First question off the bat, what the fuck is going on with your hair?
I don't know, man. I just want to do it.
Barbershop closed, it
You know?
seems?
Yeah.
You don't?
I mean, it's time for a new look. You know what I mean?
Always good to reinvent yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And are we going to be expecting to see this look possibly in DVW going forward in your matches? Yeah. Well, good to hear. But speaking of DVW, you've been having some trouble with another Eli, being Elijah Maverick. Can you go into what's been going on there?
He's been blaming me for every opportunity he has been given. Like, you had opportunities to become champion, but what happened? You failed.
Yeah, it seems like it's very heated, and it seems like, of course, he did beat the world champion, but it seems like he was trying to buy his way into a title match, and it just didn't work out, and it seems like he's been using you for the scapegoat.
Yeah, he's been using me. I mean, he wants a fight. He's looking at one.
I bet.
Like I said, anytime, any place.
Wow. Could you possibly be hinting at a challenge on tour?
I mean, if he wants to go, we can go.
Whoa. Eli Robledo sending out the challenge for Elijah Maverick for DVW on tour. Live scoop. Surprising turn of events. Now, with this match possibly happening, if the powers that be allow it, could a victory here get you back into that world title picture?
It could, or it could help Maverick go in the main event.
Definitely. Now let's speak about your first reign with the DVW World Champion, defeating what most people say a not 100% Lance Romance. Now, do you let that little caveat take away from the history you made here in DVW?
No, I don't. I mean, it wasn't Lance's fault for coming in with a concussion. I understand that. I learned from that too.
Definitely. Do you think you could still beat Lance Romance when he is 100%?
I can. Yeah.
Wow. Good to hear the confidence you have. And again, with being that first world champion, you have that responsibility now to set a good example for every world champion going forward. Now, unfortunately, you didn't get a successful defense, but
yes.
Are you looking to someday get that back and really get that good run with the belt and hold it up in the likes of the CM Punks, the San Martinos, and others?
Yes. A better reign. My first reign wasn't perfect, but if I have a chance at second reign, that can be better.
As our first DVW I Am the Tables champion, Jimmy Darrow, says, you don't forget your first. And that is exactly what you are, Eli Robledo, our first ever world champion. I don't think the people in the back could ask for a better world champion. Someone that can hold the torch of a world champion as stoically as you. Now, it seems like One Shot Kid hasn't been the most stoic of world champions is saying some very derogatory and mean-spirited things towards his challenger Eric DeVille. Now, what would you have to say to One Shot Kid for these very mean-spirited comments?
If you just don't judge by Eric DeVille, I've known this dude for a long time. I fucked with this man for a long time, and man, he's gooder.
So I'm guessing for when On Tour happens, are you going to be rooting for Eric DeVille?
Maybe, or I could. Maybe I just need to watch and see who's the winner.
Okay. Would you instead want One Shot because you want to redeem yourself from that match you had with him?
Yeah.
All right. Seems like you wouldn't mind either way. It seems. That's some great news, and I hope that you get back on track towards that DVW World Champion. And I personally think, if we're asking about Tony Sparacio's opinion, I think your reign was way too short-lived, and I think you should get right back into that title picture. Keep your chin up. And I know someday you will become a 2-time DVW World Champion. Well, all that being said, I think that's going to wrap up our interview with Eli Robledo. Thank you so much, Eli, for coming on with me. Once again, Eli Robledo, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Now, I think that's going to be about it. We're here at DVW Table Talk. I think it's going to be our time. I want to thank everyone once again, and I apologize that episode 2 was not able to stay up. If I find a way to get it back up on YouTube, I will find that way and get it to you as soon as possible. But again, I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. DVW would not be where it is without you, the fans, cheering us on, giving us your predictions and everything, and just being the audience we need you to be. I want to thank every one of you. Before we send off, we are taking more tag teams for the DVW United States Tag Team Championship Tournament. So, if you are a fan, you are interested, and you fit our criteria, then definitely DM either the DV Wrestling Caw Twitter or Riley F. and Wolf on Twitter, and we'll get back to you if we feel you are worthy of being on DVW. Until then, though, I'm Tony Sparacio, signing off for DVW Table Talk. Ooh.